Hey guys, welcome to the video. Believe it or not, there is still time to completely declutter your house by Christmas. And in this video, I'm going to show you how. Before we get into the video though, if streamlining your home is a goal of yours, then you should join me on my free workshop, 3 steps to streamlining your home in half the time, even if things seem out of control right now. I am doing this workshop live this week, and I would love it if you would join me for the live workshop. During this workshop, I will be going in depth into these 3 secrets that you need to know if you want to streamline your home fast. And at the end, there is a live Q&A. So if you have any questions at all about streamlining your home, come to the workshop and ask those questions. I especially recommend this workshop to you if you currently feel overwhelmed with managing your home, because we are heading into kind of a chaotic time of year with the holidays coming right up, and this class can help you get things under control before the holidays happen so you can enjoy them as much as possible. All right, let's get into how to declutter your home by Christmas. Now, at the filming of this video, and I will be posting it tomorrow, so at the posting of this video as well, there are 10.5 weeks until Christmas Eve. And believe it or not, that is enough time to completely declutter your home by Christmas. So if this is a goal of yours, the first step that you need to do is you need to set yourself a deadline. Now, we've already kind of done that since we said we want to be done by Christmas, but I actually recommend you set your deadline a little bit before Christmas for a couple of reasons. The first reason is it gives you a little bit of a buffer. If for some reason one area takes you longer to declutter than you thought it would, this will allow you to still get that decluttering done without having to stress out about your deadline. But the other reason that you want to make your deadline a little bit sooner is because, according to Parkinson's principle, things will take the amount of time that we allot for them. So if you give yourself 10 weeks, it will take you 10 weeks. And you don't exactly want to be decluttering right up until Christmas Eve, at least I wouldn't want to. So I recommend choosing a deadline that is 8 weeks from your start date. Now, I know that this can seem like a really short amount of time to declutter your home in, but inside my membership program, Total Home Transformation, people do it all the time. And giving yourself a deadline that makes it feel like, oh wow, I really need to do this quickly, actually will enable you to complete the project because you will keep it in the front of your mind and make sure that you are getting your tasks done. Now, obviously you need to use your judgment here because some houses do have way more clutter than other houses, but this is assuming you have kind of a normal amount of clutter for a mom in a normal sized house. If your house is very large and you are just bursting at the seams with stuff, you may need to give yourself more than 8 weeks, but this is kind of just assuming an average amount of stuff. The second thing that you need to do if you want to declutter your house by Christmas is you need to choose your method. Now, there are a lot of methods out there and you can spend a lot of time researching them if you want, but I recommend if you are wanting to declutter your home quickly to choose the room by room method. That is the method that I have found the most success with and that my students have success with all the time. And it's the method that I use whenever I help friends or family members declutter as well. The only exception is with your clothes. I do like the KonMari method for when you are decluttering clothes specifically, but I don't think that the KonMari method works well for decluttering your entire house because you kind of have to do everything all at once. Room by room kind of contains the chaos as you are decluttering, and you're able to check those boxes, get rooms done, and really feel like you're making progress at a much more rapid rate. So that is my recommendation. If you want to spend some time researching, go ahead and do that. But I would say give yourself a deadline on how much time you're going to spend researching, because you can spend a lot of time watching different YouTube videos and a lot of time reading articles about the best methods, and you will find a lot of conflicting advice out there. So that would be my recommendation if you want to declutter your home by Christmas. The third thing to do if you want to declutter your home by Christmas is make your plan. I recommend this plan be pretty detailed, so I'm going to tell you everything to include in this plan. The first thing you want to do is you want to divide up the rooms or groups of rooms and prioritize which order you are going to do the rooms in. I recommend going from the rooms that will be the easiest to the rooms that will be the most challenging. So within my programs, I always start my students decluttering the bathrooms because they're small, and they don't generally have a lot of extra stuff in them that doesn't belong in the bathroom, and also because they don't often have sentimental items in them. Sentimental items can be something that really gets people stuck when they are decluttering. So if you can gather the momentum and really get started decluttering with something that is easy, you'll be able to carry that momentum into your other projects. So bathrooms, I think, are a really good place to start, and then move through the different rooms or groups of rooms. I say groups of rooms because you can generally declutter all of your bathrooms within 1 week. Don't declutter them all simultaneously, do one at a time, but you should be able to get through all of your bathrooms within 1 week. Again, use your judgment. If you have 17 bathrooms in your house, you may need more than a week, but if you have a normal amount of bathrooms, then you should be able to do this within 1 week. And then, like I said, you would move progressively through the rooms of your house in the order of difficulty. So you would start with the absolute easiest, and you would go through until you get to the more difficult areas to declutter. The second thing to keep in mind, though, as you are creating this plan, is you also want to start with the areas that are just yours and move to any areas that involve other people. Now, obviously, bathrooms aren't just yours, but when I say just yours, it's the areas that you are in charge of and are kind of responsible for. So most moms, or I guess CEOs of the home would be a good way to put it. Sometimes it's the dad, but whoever's in charge of the home management is generally in charge of the bathroom cleaning and bathroom stuff. So that would fall in your stuff category. Also, whoever is in charge of the home management, the cleaning and the cooking is typically, I would say, in charge of the kitchen as well. Obviously, there's exceptions to the rules. Do whatever makes sense to your family, but I would include the kitchen as part of your stuff as you are creating this plan. Same with common areas. Even if other people's things are sometimes in the common areas, it's generally the mom's or whoever is running the home's responsibility to maintain the common areas. And the reason I make this distinction, saying you want to make sure you're starting with your stuff, is because the inclination of most people who need to declutter is to think, I need to get rid of the toys. So they decide they're going to declutter and they jump right into decluttering the kids' toys without getting their family ready and without doing their own stuff first, which just puts all the kids on the defensive and makes them hate any decluttering that is happening. Your family will respect the process and respect you doing this process much more if you start with your own things and show them, I'm not just decluttering the toys, I'm doing this for our whole house and for our whole family. Now, if you're like me and you love checking things off after you get them done, then I recommend you create a checklist for each area, detailing everything you want to tackle within each room. You can find these all over the place online. You can make them yourself, or I actually have printable and digital workbooks called Cluttered to Calm, and those have the checklists and everything already there for you, so you can just print those out and get started right away. I will put links to those in the description down below if you are interested in checking those out. The next thing to do if you want to declutter your home by Christmas is you need to get your family on board. This is the step that is skipped most often when people decide to declutter. People get excited about it. They say, yes, I'm going to change my home. I'm going to make my life easier. And they just get started. But when they do this without talking to their family, without getting the other adults in their house on board, when they do this without getting their kids on board, it's going to be met with some resistance. This is actually a mistake that I made when I first started decluttering. I did not bother getting my husband on board. I just started going crazy with the decluttering, and it definitely put him on the defense. It made him very nervous that I was going to declutter his things, even though I didn't have any intention of doing that. But I didn't take the time to explain that to him or explain why I wanted to do this. And he would often joke about, what are you going to declutter next, me? And it actually took quite a while because for some reason I never thought to have this conversation with him of me doing the decluttering and not decluttering his stuff before he was on board with it. And eventually I would overhear him actually talking with different people saying, yeah, it's so great. The house is so much cleaner now that Cassie's decluttered it, and things are just so much more orderly. And I would even hear him recommending the books that I had read to other people, which was funny because whenever we talked about it, he was always still very stressed and nervous about it. And eventually he came to me and said, hey, I want to declutter my clothes now. Can you help me? Hey, I want to go through my part of the closet. Can you help me? Hey, I'm ready to declutter the garage. Can you help me with this? And I truly believe if I had taken the time to get him on board, to talk with him about it, it would have been a much easier process for both of us because he wouldn't have been kind of resisting the process. It wouldn't have had this kind of stressful tension about the decluttering project, and he would have come around to decluttering his things much sooner. So you definitely want to get the other adults in your house on the same page and let them know you won't be decluttering their things. Any personal things of theirs are completely off limits to you, but you can let them know if they want to declutter while you are decluttering. You can give them information about how to declutter and help with the process in any way that would be helpful to them. Then they don't have to stress about what you will be decluttering or not, and you don't have to stress as much about them trying to dig in their heels and not really be on board for the most part. Obviously, some people won't be on board right away, but at least you've had that conversation and set expectations. Then once you get the other adults on board, I recommend actually brainstorming, and you can do this with the other adults, different rewards for when you complete different rooms, when you complete different areas in a room. If you have a really big room to do, maybe you have a toy room with a lot of toys in it. When you complete one section of the toys, maybe do some reward for the family. And once you figure out the rewards that you are willing to do, I have a whole list of rewards and reward ideas in that workbook, Cluttered to Calm. So check that out if you're interested in more reward ideas. But I really like to make this a fun process and kind of gamify it. Make it so that the kids and any spouses or other adults in the house are super excited for you to declutter, because then they will actually hold you accountable to getting this process done. But once you guys have figured out which rewards you are going to do and going to offer, then have a family meeting and get the kids buy-in. Let them know why you are going to do this process, how much extra time you're going to have when you aren't cleaning all the time, how much less stressed you're going to be, and definitely tell them about the rewards that they're going to get as they help with the process and what the process is going to look like. I have a whole video about how to get your family on board, so if you would like more details about this step, I will link that video in the cards and in the description down below. Now, one important thing I will say here, you are not asking for your kids' permission to declutter, because if you ask for their permission, they will always say no. But you are trying to make this as fun and exciting as possible. And then the last step to do is get started. You want to approach each room with a very specific process because you want to make sure that you're completely decluttering so you don't have to do this step again. There will be times in your life where you may have to declutter a little area, like offices tend to need it periodically, medicine cabinets, under the kitchen sink, things like that. But you should never have to. If you go through this whole process and completely declutter your home, do the entire large declutter again. Now, I do have a full video if you want a very detailed breakdown of how to approach each room and how to do that decluttering step. I will link that in the cards and in the description down below, but I will give you just a brief overview right now. So when you are decluttering a room, you want to have some boxes and bags with you as you declutter. And then you're going to take everything out of that space. So if you are decluttering a bathroom, take everything out of that bathroom. As you take everything out, you are going to put it into one box. So you're going to have a for sure keep box. You're going to have a donate box for things that are still in good condition, but you don't need anymore. You're going to have a sell box, which most things in the bathroom you're not going to sell, but that will apply to other areas. Then you're going to have a trash box or bag. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And then you are also going to have a maybe box. This is super important, and you want to make sure this one is a box that you can seal. Anything that you aren't quite sure about, put in this box. You're going to label this box with the room and the date. So as you're pulling everything out of this space, put it in one of these boxes. Anything that you're not sure which box it goes in that maybe box. Once you are done decluttering, everything that's in the donate box goes into your vehicle. Next time you're driving past the donation center, drop off the donate items. Everything that is in the trash box or bag after your decluttering session goes straight to the trash. Everything that is in the keep box or bag goes back into the area. Everything that is in the sell box gets listed. Give yourself a deadline to list it. Typically, I like to do the end of that day or the end of the next day, depending on when you are decluttering. And for the maybe box, you are going to seal it up. You are going to put tape over the box, completely seal it up, make sure it is labeled again with the room and the date, and you are going to put it in the garage. Anytime that you need or want something that you had put in a maybe box, go to wherever you are storing it, whether it's the garage, basement, storage area, I don't care where it is, but open that box up, get out what you needed, and then seal it back up. And then you're going to give yourself a deadline or a date sometime in the future. I recommend 3 to 6 months in the future. You're going to choose a date. You're going to set a reminder on your phone. So let's say you finished decluttering your common areas today. You're going to set an alarm on your phone for 3 months in the future that says donate common area maybe box. So whenever you get to that date, everything else that's in that box, you're not going to look in it. You are going to drop it off at a donation center. And this really helps with that decision making during the decluttering, because what really hangs up a lot of people is they say, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to need this again. I don't know if I'm going to want it. So the maybe box puts it out of sight, out of mind, and says, do you actually need it or want it? Or is it just because you've always had it? So this will help you with some of those things that you aren't sure about and help you completely declutter your home once and for all. But again, I will put that video with the full list of steps in the cards and in the description. Now, if you are watching this video thinking, I would love to declutter my home by Christmas, but I'm not sure that I can do it alone, then you should check out my membership site, Total Home Transformation. Inside the site, I walk you through step by step with a plan already in place how to declutter your home. And you actually also get access to that workbook that I talked about in this video. So it has everything you need to complete this decluttering project by Christmas. And you also get weekly accountability coaching calls with me and the other members. They are live calls, so you can ask any questions that you have, share about any roadblocks. You can show us areas that you're decluttering if you need some insight or help. And it's just a really fun community to be part of. And if you use the code YouTube at checkout, you can get $5 off your monthly membership. All right, guys, that's all I had for this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you are planning to declutter your house by Christmas so I can cheer you on. As always, I'm Cassie with StreamlineYourHome.com, and I want to help you add 7 extra hours to your week. If that sounds like something you would enjoy, be sure to subscribe down below, ring the bell next to it, and I will see you on the next video.